Doma Sports Talk worldwide with some news from the world of boxing. So y'all know what time it is. You ain't in a rush to get concussed, baby. Now, heroes, Negro League fighters. You know what I'm saying? And it is what it is. You know, we got them Negro League fighters and they're there. You know, they're handling their business. Most of the time being ignored. That's why we got to make sure they have a name that people realize who these guys are, right? One of the main guys, you know, Negro League fighters would have to be Terence Bud Crawford, right? And to me, Terence Bud Crawford is a hero already, right? He's a hero. He's a boxing hero, in my opinion, and it's because of the landscape of boxing and when you have the sanctioning bodies just doing just shenanigans, fighters that are doped, right? You know, and just all these shenanigans going on with fighters who are avoiding fighters but still being heralded as being stuff, and you know what we talk about pretty much all the time here. That's why they're Negro League fighters. And Terence Bud Crawford is a hero because of what he's done up until now, right? Have we ever heard of Terence Crawford, for example, not fighting somebody calling him out, he just doesn't fight him? Right? Somebody good at least, you know, somebody at home on the street talking some smack and Terence Crawford don't hear it. I'm not talking about that. Somebody's significance. We can talk about him. Let's start with Pacquiao, right? Let's start with Manny Pacquiao. In most eyes, Manny Pacquiao is the second best fighter of all time. That's what they talk about Pacquiao. Second best fighter of all time. He hasn't wanted to fight this guy for about 7 years now. 6 or 7 years. Documented. And everyone, Pacquiao's trainer, Freddie Roach, Pacquiao's promoter at the time, Bob Arum, all did not want him to fight Terence Crawford when Terence Crawford was only at 140 pounds, right? 135 and 140, right? Didn't want him to fight him, and Pacquiao was bigger, right? Heavier, at least. With them big old calves, you know, punches and bunches and all the movement. Didn't never want him to fight him. They were worried about his well-being. If you don't believe me, just put Terence Crawford and Pacquiao. Google it, and you just see all these things. And Bob Arum, to his credit, said these things openly in public. And I think he was thinking at the time, if I say this in public, then Pacquiao is going to man up and say, "Hey, no, you can't be saying I'm going to get hurt from this guy." That's what it was. And let's just make sure this is clear. Pacquiao against anybody else. Listen, who? Floyd Mayweather, Errol Spence, Juan Marquez, right? Who did Pacquiao we ever have to worry about Pacquiao's well-being? Ever. Only this guy, right? Only this guy. They didn't give him to him. Now, if he would have fought Pacquiao, he would have beat him. We know that. And he would have been a star. But they didn't give him to him. Doesn't matter to me. It's a badge of honor here. Here it's a badge of honor. Every time you see Pacquiao and Bud Crawford in a sentence, people are worried. I can remember Stephen A. Smith being worried, right? I can remember Teddy Atlas being worried. Pacquiao better not fight this guy against nobody. And then right in the same sentence, Spence, bigger than Terence Crawford, dangerous as hell for a welterweight. He was gonna fight him. Manny Pacquiao's people were relieved. Remember that? They were relieved that it wasn't Terence Crawford. It was only Errol Spence. Now, when you hear Errol Spence's name in a sentence like that it was only Errol Spence. Errol Spence, the baddest welterweight. But they would rather fight him than this little old skinny guy. Reminds me of another skinny guy in the heavyweight division that everybody act like wasn't good. Also a Negro League fighter. Bottom line, them skinny guys, you better be careful. So, yes, he's a hero because that's that Pacquiao thing alone. But to be undisputed at 140 is also something, right? It's also something. But let's make sure this is clear. You know, it's not just that. It's what, after moving up to his third weight division, right, welterweight division, Terence Crawford beat all these undefeated guys that people try to act like because they weren't on the side of PBC that they weren't undefeated and awesome. Like, yeah, Jeff Horn had just beat Pacquiao. I'm repeating myself, but I don't care. Somebody new might be here. You know, only 3 of y'all gonna look anyway. Maybe it's 5 this time. Pacquiao got beat by Jeff Horn. The people were outraged. They looked at the fight twice, and he got beat by Jeff Horn. The fight wasn't even close for Terence Crawford. Jeff Horn was undefeated, beating Pacquiao, and then he wanted to fight because Jeff Horn was feeling himself. Jeff Horn called out everybody after beating Pacquiao. Let's make sure that's clear about Jeff Horn. People don't just try to forget him. After he beat Manny Pacquiao, he wasn't doing a George Kambosos. He was like, I'll fight Spence or whoever else it was at the time, Keith Thurman, all of them. He wasn't. It was no problem for him. I got to give him props for that. Let's make sure we get that clear. Jeff Horn was feeling himself, but he messed around with the smaller one. Terence Crawford got beat the hell up badly, right? With a lot of distance in between. Awesome. He beat up any Benavidez. You try to beat up any Benavidez. Jose. The David Benavidez, Jose Benavidez was undefeated at the time. Bad. Didn't know how to lose. You know, every time Terence Crawford hit him, he would just be like, bring it on. Until he hit him at the end of round 12 and then at the end of the fight. But at the end of the day, Benavidez is a strong, bad, undefeated guy at the time. Knocked him out. Same thing he did with Jeff Horn. Then Cavalicus, mean machine, undefeated at the time, didn't know how to lose. As a matter of fact, don't we say that Cavalicus had Terence Crawford down? Because that's what we seem to be talking about in the fight, just like we did against Devin Haney and Linares. Right? We talked about when they were down. Somebody got knocked the hell out and stopped. Cavalicus took his O. So he comes up to the welterweight division, take 3 O's in a row, and then beats 2 kind of legends, 2 guys who going to fight tonight, Amir Khan and Kell Brook. Right? Beat both of them with a lot of distance. Matter of fact, some more distance than a lot of other people did. You know what I mean? So, hero. But that's not even all. Listen, he wants to be undisputed at welterweight because he's already been undisputed once. Just like I told you. Guys, remember what I told you, but I'm going to tell you that at the end. But listen, he wants to be undisputed at welterweight. Now, he's been trying to fight Errol Spence bad. We know that. Errol Spence offering him these crazy deals and stuff, trying to act like he doesn't know how decorated this guy is. But okay, you know, people nowadays, you know, you get a few pay-per-views, then all of a sudden pay-per-views mean more than fighting. You know what? Pay-per-views mean more than undisputed. That's what kind of sport we're dealing with. Pay-per-views mean more than undisputed to these people. Matter of fact, pay-per-views mean more than #1 pound for pound. And Terence Crawford's both, and there's a guy that's been in one division the whole time, right? And he is more, lucrative than Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford's #1 pound for pound, and he's been undisputed, and a guy that's just got 2 belts in the division, and he's the same division because he had a couple of pay-per-views. He's the guy who's the A-side against that guy. I don't know what kind of, that's not sport anymore. That's something else. That's financial something. That's not sport, because at some point you're going to want, wait a minute, I got a little old dude coming up to my division. He got the nerve to have a pound for pound moniker. Not in my division. Errol Spence should be doing the chasing here. But anyway, Errol Spence is about to fight Yordenis Ugas. And that's going to be a good fight. I got Errol Spence winning that because I think Yordenis Ugas, he's Cuban, first of all. So that's it, basically. But, and he just come off beating Pacquiao too. And anybody else, Sean Porter, most people think he beat Sean Porter, but it doesn't matter, whatever. It was a close fight with him and Sean Porter. That's pretty much good enough, right? That puts him with everybody else that had a close fight with Sean Porter, right? If it's Danny Garcia, if it's Keith Thurman, everybody. Even Terence Crawford's fight was close for a while, right? So Sean Porter is all that. But Yordenis Ugas won the Pacquiao fight, for sure. Right? And so this guy is going to be hard to beat for Errol Spence. But let's see what happens. I think I'll give Errol a 60-40 on this one. But Yordenis Ugas could come out of there. And I kind of would rather Yordenis Ugas to win, because I think then the Crawford fight will happen. Right? I think with Spence it might be some kind of hang-up. And Terence Crawford fans out there, right? Bottom line is, this is the best scenario. You don't want Terence Crawford to fight Errol Spence directly. Let Errol Spence have a good hard fight, like Errol Spence is the man he is. He come like, I don't care about no car crash, or no torn retina in my eye. I'm coming back to fight good fights. I came back after the car crash and fought Danny Garcia, and now I'm about to fight Yordenis Ugas and get me another damn belt. And then I'm going to go push up on Crawford and don't give him no money. That's what might happen. So I think Yordenis Ugas would probably be a better scenario so we can get undisputed. Reason why I would care about undisputed welterweight is because of this. Terence Crawford said, listen, I'm trying to get welterweight undisputed, right? But if not, if somebody don't happen, then your boy Castano and Jamel Charlo are going to fight at 154 pounds. I'll take the winner of that for undisputed 154. If that ain't no hero in boxing, I don't know. I don't know. You know, this is a Negro League fighter. They're heroes. Like I'm trying, and I told you guys months ago. That's what Terence Crawford is up to, guys. He wants to be the first 3-division undisputed guy, and he could have been that already, because at lightweight division he should have, before he left, make sure to clean it up, do all the technicalities, but he didn't. But even though he left unified from the 135-pound division, I will always note this: there was nobody there that was like, hey, where you going? You fight me first. Nobody. It was nothing popping off at lightweight. He was the best lightweight too, but he just didn't get the undisputed, which is kind of sad because it would be 2-division undisputed. But okay, he went into 140, he got that. All hail Julius Undungo. While he, you know, because Julius Undungo accepted the fight in Nebraska. Well, that's also heroic, in my opinion. But okay, right? He got it there. At 147, he's trying to get it there. And then he wants to go up to 154 and try to get it there. It's just the thought that counts. Negro League fighter. Now, Negro League fighter, you know, I say that so many times and people are thinking, well, it's only the black fighters you represent and you know, care only about black fighters, you know, trying to act like it's that. No, I'm caring about fighters that get cheated, right? Or they're not getting their props. They just happen to be black. But when we say a Negro League fighter, it's starting to represent fighters that don't have a problem with fighting anybody. Because Alexander Usyk is a Negro League fighter, in my opinion. He has all the criteria except for his skin color. And who cares? We got a light one. Alexander Usyk is a Negro League fighter, whether you like it or not. That's a bad boy who goes to everybody's backyard and beat them the hell up. Okay? He white. Bad. Much support here. Much love. My favorite fighter right now. Or up in the top 3. I ain't gonna say favorite because Demetrius Andrade and Terence Crawford. Matter of fact, all of them Negro League. Just put them in the Negro League team. Right? There's a couple of other ones. Dave Benavidez ain't scared of nobody. Don't get it. Don't be trying to act like he ducked Demetrius Andrade as much as I'm rolling with Demetrius Andrade. It's not about that. It's about like me and Demetrius Andrade ain't fighting because Canelo's scared of both of us and we supposed to fight for pennies. Market the fight as Canelo's scared of both of us and then we can get a couple, you know, them 8 figures. You know what I'm saying? That's all that is. But at the end of the day, before I get into a rant, Bud Crawford is a hero for just wanting to do these things. Right? Because he's surrounded by boxers who are just not. Y'all feeling that? Doma Sports Talk, worldwide. And I'm up out of here, y'all.